Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Let's jump right into collectively rewilding. All right, here we are. And there has been a lot of net activity, both in the community, there's been some, and out of the community. I planted the sprouts in the microgreens and shared that video with you guys on Saturday. And this is what the sprouts look like already. And I will probably have the girls and I harvest the top layer of sprouts that were supposed to be ready in 5 days. And the 10-day mix really looks like it's pretty much ready as well. So definitely doing well. And then these are the microgreens. And you can see they're already doing pretty decently. I've got some up in both pans. And in this pan here, a little bit of mold. So I did go ahead and get that fan to distribute the air. I just got it in today, and hopefully it will start dealing with the mold right away. And so I will let you guys know all about that. And while I still have several packages of the mild and hot mix from the Dollar Tree, right? They're working great. You saw the success. Definitely a good place to get some cheap seeds to do this with if you're interested. You do have to get them though in the spring, right? Counter to what we do here, right? We're going to go outside in the spring. We're going to get out in the sun, but you can buy them in the spring to have them ready to go in your coldest period of the year. Well, I wanted to do a great example of a variety of different things within the sprouts and microgreens while we're all kind of stuck inside a little bit with the cold weather. And I ordered some, as I mentioned to you guys, from True Leaf. This one is the 5-part salad mix. And let me, as Tammy's always telling me, stop sharing my screen. This is what the seeds look like here. And as you can see, there's some larger seeds and a good mix of color in there. And this is going to be alfalfa, radish, mung bean, lentil, and broccoli. This is 4 to 5 days for sprouting, right? I'm also going to probably try some as microgreens, so it shouldn't have any negative effects. And then this one has some huge seeds in it. So it might not work out quite as readily for microgreens. It might be better to just keep this one as sprouts. And it's the protein powerhouse. All right. So check out those all more towards like beans, right? So we have here, let's see, adzuki, garbanzo, mung beans, and green peas. So that's the powerhouse protein mix. That one's going to be a completely different type of experience. And of course, we'll take pictures for you guys and see what the actual comparison does between the different kinds of sprouts and microgreens. I also got some red arrow sprouting radish, some astro arugula, and I love these bags. They just put you in the mood for getting out in your garden, don't you? Don't you think? Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. This one here, the flowers, is black oil sunflower, and this one here is beet microgreens. So these are more towards specifically for microgreens. These are more towards sprouting, and then the intermediary are also more towards sprouting, but I believe that they'll work for most of them, either or, right? And so we'll definitely test that out and see how it all works out between sprouts and microgreens. We might even try just a little bit with the microgreens for that protein powerhouse mix. And so definitely really excited to keep going with that and explore all of that. We'll be trying them tomorrow. So let's see. I don't think we're back here in Collectively Rewilding until Sunday with Miss Tammy first. Hopefully she'll be feeling ready to go, and then I will be back with you that evening. But we'll definitely let you know how they taste and perhaps we'll put them on a salad or something of that nature. You always hear salads, smoothies, soups. Another suggestion on these seed bags was stir fry. And of course, that makes absolute sense, right? And so, what are you guys thinking as we go through all of that? Any thoughts? Any sprouts that you were surprised of? Seeds that were included in the mixes? Anything like that?
Where did you get your seeds from?
From Truly Market. I can show you guys. Let's see, let me get a blank tab here. Oh my gosh, I'm running out of space with all my tabs. The blank one. Okay. And True Leaf Market, right? Non-GMO seed source since 1974. And they have a big variety of different seeds. They have the trays, all of it. And then, of course, they have your regular garden seeds as well. It doesn't just have to be for microgreens and sprouts, but they were some of the best priced seeds that I found online. And it was a safe source from my research. So they definitely have a good amount out here. Here are all of their vegetables. They have the herbs, flowers. Then you get into the microgreen seeds, the sprouting seeds. They have cover crops. They have specific Asian fruits and vegetables, right? So lettuce, this is going to be different than what we would maybe think of as lettuce right off the bat. They have microgreens that are specifically in that Asian seed mix, which these two, when I got the packages, right, it's from Sawa Seed Company, your source for Asian vegetable seeds for over 100 years. So True Leaf buys from other companies often enough that they get their label onto them, but that is a company that's been out there providing Asian fruits and vegetable seeds for over 100 years. So that was kind of interesting to see. And I do believe that that packaging style, the really pretty packaging style, they could be working with someone else here, or this just might be the trend because boy, you see that everywhere. That kind of picture and the lettering, that old fashioned sign kind of a look. And I think it's so pretty. And so were those some, you've done the sprouts before, Kindez. Were you surprised at some of the names for the plants that I was throwing out there?
Um, yeah, that was something new. Hold on, let me see what kind of packages I got.
Absolutely. Should I stop sharing and let you share your video? We're putting them on the spot, guys. And so while we're waiting for him to get back, it looks like maybe he had to go get the seeds or something to that nature. The one that was kind of surprising just in name was the black oil sunflowers. I thought that was a very almost kind of a nasty name to apply to a sunflower. And yet, knowing the history of sunflowers, that was one of the major sources of oil for many Native American tribes. And so I can't help but wonder if this particular sunflower doesn't have a very concentrated oil source in their seeds, right? And I've never researched how they got the oil from those seeds. And so now I'm really interested. Is it like a cold press where you press the seeds to get the oil out? How did they get that oil? I've always known they used it as an oil, but how do you get sunflower oil, right? Excuse me. And are you back there, Kindez?
Oh yeah, I was just
Do you
looking.
want me to stop my share so I can let you share your screen or your video?
Yeah. Let me
Absolutely.
get everything hooked up for a second.
There you go. All right.
So I had got these. These are from the Sprout House.
The Sprout House. All right. Oh, it looks like you have used a lot. Goodness.
Yeah, but I was looking at some of the names. I guess
Hmm.
they're just generic. Like this is just rainbow bean mix, veggie queen mix, wisdom blend.
It would be neat to know what they were, right? But yeah, they don't always share.
Well, yeah, they got what's in them. I was
Oh,
just looking
okay.
at the name. Uh, soul bean salad mix, and this one is lentils together.
That's interesting.
Open. Ah.
I'll tell you what, growing things like lentils or lima beans is going to make me a lot more likely to try them. How about you guys?
Yeah, I mean I don't think I tried lentils or knew that I was eating lentils until I grew. But
And it's
yeah,
a lot different, of course, to eat them as sprouts or microgreens than to grow them to fruition, right? But still,
hmm. So the lentils together is just red lentils and French lentils, both certified organic, of course.
nice.
Oh, and it contains green lentils. So
Okay,
green, red, and French.
that's fun.
Bean salad mix is organic mung, adzuki,
Hmm. I have some of that too.
French lentils, and radish.
Nice.
The rainbow is garbanzo, lentils, and green peas. The veggie queen is green little lentils, French lentils, fenugreek,
And you Greek? Hmm.
clover, and radish.
Oh, that's a nice one.
And the wisdom blend is Kamut brand wheat, Kamut brand wheat,
Hmm.
fenugreek, and French lentils.
Nice. And it's nice when they put those names on there telling you kind of what benefit you're going to get. Oh, that one's still got a good amount in it.
Oh yeah, I was just looking at them.
Oh, okay. Are these new ones that you've ordered recently?
Mm-mm. That's the ones that I have found. I was like, oh snap, I still got a lot.
Yeah, you do. That's fun. And you have a lot of the bigger seeds as well then in your mixes.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I see this one. It's the only real bag with like a lot of small seeds. I don't know if you can see it.
Kind of, yeah. You have an idea of it.
Yeah,
Hmm. It looks a little bit more like this one here, right?
it's
My
like
smaller seeds. Hmm.
almost like bird feed.
It does a little bit, but then a lot of bird seed will have things like sunflower seeds mixed in with it, right? And bigger pieces too. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I also got a sour gum that I'm going to put into the bund, right? We've talked about the bund in the backyard, and that's what they're growing in Africa a lot of times when they're making these buns is sour gum. So I thought, well, let's, you know, go full force and use it the way they're using it in a concerted effort to bring back greenery to that part of Africa, right?
Right?
Yeah. That was so I could get free shipping, I think, is why I added the sour gum. But it's really pretty. It's called red orange sour gum, and it's going to look a little bit very different in the way the plant grows, but some of that feathery, seedy type of texture, and it'll be a red orange kind of a color. So we'll have pictures of that process as well for you guys for sure. And so, when do you plan on starting your sprouts up again, Ken does?
Um, I don't know. I got on the night. I was like, oh man, I forgot to start the process. So probably after this call, I'll set my situation up so it'll be easier for me to do. You know what I
There
mean?
you go. Well, we will be looking forward to some pictures and stories then.
Hmm.
Very nice. All right. And so, how about for the rest of you? Are any of you looking to start sprouts or microgreens or maybe a salad in a pot? Everybody's quiet. Sometimes it's nice to just take a little bit of a break when the cold weather sets in as well, isn't it? I definitely am going to make use of the time that I'm not being outside watering or sowing seeds or cutting down trees or putting down mulch or all of these different things that we've been active doing over the last year, right? Whew, take a little breath. Have my little bitty garden here that fits in a corner of my office. And so lots of fun things going on. This Saturday, we'll start another tray, and I will probably start one or two of these and rotate all of them through and take pictures, and we can look at the differences for all of these different little seeds that will be sprouting or growing in soil for microgreens, right? Really looking forward to tasting them tomorrow. My family does buy microgreens and sprouts regularly. They're available in most of the grocery stores here in Tooele Valley and Salt Lake Valley. So that's been nice, and we have purchased them. But just like anything, I am sure these grown at home with no chemicals are going to taste so much better than what we purchased at the grocery stores, right? So I think tomorrow the plan is for a very interesting spaghetti squash recipe that our oldest daughter likes to make. It's actually very yummy. And with the spaghetti squash, right, you know how you cook it and then you tear it up to have those spaghetti like noodle shapes inside of it. And then she puts feta cheese and cherry tomatoes on them and bakes it again, and it's very good. And I can't see how microgreens and or sprouts wouldn't go very nicely with that. So we will probably add some to our spaghetti squash tomorrow night, and we'll take some pictures and share how that went with you guys either Sunday or Monday, right? Depending. We have so many things that are fun to read out there. I kind of hate to take away any time from the reading because we already have books piling up and articles piling up. There's too many wonderful pieces out there to ever get through all of them. So I kind of try to leave Yarn Yard for Tall Tales really for those tall tales of wonderful, organic, sustainable styles of life and growing out there going on in this world. There are so many people out there doing so many wonderful things. And I think that we all get really down sometimes when we think about what's going on in the world, and getting to walk into a place that's talking about the solution instead of the problem. That's another big part of what I would like for us all to get when we come into collectively rewilding, to get that way forward, the way to do what we can to make a better tomorrow, right? And something as small as growing our own microgreens and sprouts. I think we've talked about it in one of the articles we read by Nicole Burke. We're actually saving miles and miles of transport. The average produce, according to her article, takes 1,500 miles of transport to be at your grocery store. So think of it, every little piece that we do for ourselves at home, we're maybe not always going to save money, right? Because those people that tell you, you can just save tons of money if you grow at home. Well, you might be able to at some point, but initially you're not going to save money by growing at home, but you are going to save money on your health. You can add to the value of your home. You can provide wonderful experiences for your family that you don't have to pay anything extra. You don't have to go to a park. You don't have to go to an arboretum or, you know, any of these types of things. You get that experience right there at home. Those are things that you can do. And when it comes to sprouts and microgreens, as Nicole Burke says, the investment that you have to put in for those little guys, you actually do save money rather quickly, right? That's one area of gardening where she and I yet can agree. And the only place that you can really say you're going to save money, especially initially with this, is through those microgreens and sprouts. But there is so much worth to getting out and getting in that soil. Just that contact alone is such a huge health benefit. Getting out into the sunlight, and of course, if any of you have gotten to experience homegrown fruits or vegetables, the difference between a store-bought tomato and a homegrown tomato is the memories of my childhood, right? We would get boxes of garden tomatoes when I was a child, and I would just eat until I would give myself canker sores because they were so delicious. It was the most beautiful thing I have ever eaten still to this day. A homegrown tomato, my favorite food above and beyond all. So definitely find something that you want to do and just start doing something that is enjoyable. That's the biggest part. We don't want to get these huge, big endeavors like what I'm doing here and what I've been doing here. My family gets so upset with me, and I get overwhelmed and exhausted at points too. But I want to show everybody how much there is out there. And you don't need to do it all. Just find those pieces that are fun and exciting to you. Just like this bund that Ken does and I were talking about. It's a simple soil structure. And let's close this out and go over here to our tab again. A bund will there is this arc, and they're not showing it very well here. These are too big. Let's see. We'll look in collectively rewilding. See if I can find it under bund. Yes. Okay. And that picture is just so clear. These little half moon shapes, right? And they are, very good size. Mine is a little bit smaller than this. Mine is probably more about a third the size of what these are in the backyard. But it's a half moon circle that you dig out, not as deeply as you would for a swale, a sunken garden, not for any of that. It's just a gradual decline that you push that soil back to create that mound that creates the half circle. And many times they'll put some branches and things on top of that to help give it some cover, some stability, keep it from getting washed away even more, and additional water storage, right? And then those half moons, they capture the water in this area that can be so dry at certain points of the year. And it allows for this growth to happen that you see in this side over here. And it actually gets even more so, and you'll see more and more trees coming back. And that soil structure allows life to begin again in this area that has been desertified, right? And so this soil that I'm dealing with here is naturally a high desert soil. So it isn't to the extremes that you see as you go into Nevada, or certainly that they're dealing with in the Sahara or in Death Valley, right? But it is a high desert. And then putting these soil structures into our garden is going to just create these vibrant, teeming with life areas of our yard that we will have to do very little for, other than make sure that you get that full coverage like we show in those pictures from Gardenary, where every inch of the soil is simply covered by living plant life. And that's what you want to do with these swales, these berms, these bunds. And that was what you can see in those pictures that I've shared with you guys over time of what has happened in especially the sunken garden and our largest berm and swale system. Well, now that my father came and shoved all that dirt that was supposed to be for other purposes back into what was supposed to be the Wally Peony, the bund has shown itself again, and we'll really be able to start working with it this coming year. But it's going to be very simple. I will probably check and do some research, but I may even go out and spread the seed this winter so that as the spring comes, it's already there to start the battle with the weeds, right? We allowed the softer weeds to stay to bring life back to this, yes, desertified yard that we had with almost zero life to the soil. It was almost complete what they call dirt instead of soil, because dirt is a classification that shows that there's no life in it, right? Had such small amounts of life that it was basically completely void of any healthy soil structure, any plant life, any microbiology in that soil structure. When we put down the mulch, that allowed enough loosening that those really hardy weeds like, yes, bindweed and knotweed and the volunteer sunflowers and all these types of plants to break through that hardened surface that had died off in our backyard and start the process of loosening up that soil where more desirable plants could then begin to take over. So now I'm going to overseed that bund with sorghum and give it that really early start to try to help it battle out those weeds, right? All these different things that we're doing, we have to accept that as human beings, the creature that we are modifies the environment around us. And then now we as individuals get to choose how we want to modify our own environments if we want to do so in a more sustainable manner. And there are so many ways to do that. Even if, like Miss Wendy, you are limited to a windowsill and a small porch that doesn't get a lot of sunlight, there's still ways to get out there, get into it, and hopefully, Miss Wendy, you'll find some time to join us in some of our how-tos for community outreach so we can start looking into a format for you to approach getting a community garden there in your apartment complex or nearby, right?
Yes. Thank
All
you.
right. It's good to see you back, my dear.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you, my lady. All right, guys. So as we said a little earlier, our next class is not going to be until this Sunday, December 7th. And Miss Tammy, are you feeling like you're going to be ready to go Sunday morning?
Of course I am. I'm feeling better.
Yay! I'm so
Yay.
glad to hear that. I'm sure we all are. All right, so our next class is going to be Tea and Talk with Tammy. I'm so excited to hear everything that she's got going on. Maybe she's moved forward with that tent, right? We're kind of in similar places. Hers is just, oh, I don't know, about 7 or 8 times the size of my little grow station here. So very fun. Sunday, December 7th, that will be 12 o'clock noon for Pacific, 1 o'clock p.m. Mountain, 2 o'clock p.m. Central, and 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And I will be back with you a little bit later Sunday evening for Yarn Yard for Tall Tales, and that will be 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Mountain, 9:30 Central, and 10:30 Eastern. Hope to see you guys there, and I hope you all have a wonderful day tomorrow. Please feel free to unmute and say good evening.
Buenos
Everybody have a
noches,
good night.
everybody.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Hi, good night.
Good night, everyone.